Hello friends, this is Shruti from PTE Tutorials OSIS Group. Today I'm here to talk about how to write a perfect PTE academic essay. In this very video, I will explain in detail each and every point about essay writing. So let's discuss the scoring pattern of PTE essay. In exam, a person may get 1 to 2 essays, and for each essay, the allotted time is 20 minutes. Further, scoring is having partial credit because some enabling skills are also attached to it, like grammar, vocabulary, spelling, written discourse content, development structure and coherence, form, and lastly, general linguistic range. Now let's discuss in brief the types of scores reported here. If the content score is 0, there would be no further scoring. Similarly, if the score for form is 0, again, there will be no further evaluation of your response. So, one should keep this thing in mind how important content and form is. One more important point here. What is written discourse? It is very important to know what exactly it is. This is basically the combination of development structure coherence and general linguistic range. And the later part of this video, I will explain these things in detail and where one has to put more focus to get good band score. Now let's understand the scoring of this essay. Maximum score of content is 3. You get 3 out of 3 when the response provided by you will adequately deals with the prompt. Let's understand this thing by taking one example. Say a person got one essay that is university deducts students' score on late submission of their assignments. But the test taker wrote nothing about deduction of scores. It means there is no task achievement. So, definitely you will get less score and content as you did not deal with all the asked aspects in the prompt. Then comes form. When you write your essay in 200 to 300 words, you get 2 out of 2. Otherwise, you would be getting less score. Then comes development structure and coherence. Many people are not aware about this skill. They just start practicing without going into the depth of scoring pattern of PTE-A exam. As this is an online exam, so one has to be very particular about each and every involved strategy in writing this exam. So let's come back to the topic. I was elaborating the term development structure and coherence. This is basically the logical flow between the structure of the written lines, and you get full credit here. That is 2 out of 2 when the need is fulfilled. Otherwise, again, you will be getting less score. So remember, logical flow must be there. Then comes grammar. When we write sentences, there must be a consistent grammatical control over those sentences. Also, the correct usage of complex language is very important to maintain the flow of the sentences. Then comes GLR, that is General Linguistic Range. It means how well you have used the wide range of language. English language with zero ambiguity means after reading the sentences, the reader should understand the correct sense of your lines, which is really an important factor here. Then comes vocabulary. You get maximum score in vocabulary, that is 2 out of 2, when there has been used a wide range of lexical repertoire lexical resources, or you may say lexical devices, with the help of idiomatic expressions and colloquialisms. Otherwise, if anything will be missing over here, will lead to less score. Now let's discuss furthermore, that is our spelling score. You get 2 out of 2 when all the written words are correct, 1 out of 2 when one spelling error is there, and 0 out of 2 when there are more than one spelling error. It means it is very important that we should not commit a single spelling error. So, one has to be very much conscious while writing their essay or any other writing task. And how we can overcome this problem? And the answer is proofreading. Proofreading is must whenever you are writing anything during your writing tasks. Now let's discuss further the main topic of this video. What is the basic difference between 6, 7 and 8 band essay? See, from table I can clearly judge that one thing is very common to all. That is task achievement. Means whatever the prompt is demanding, whether we had written it in our response or not. And most importantly, have we covered all the points which were asked in the prompt? Then comes how well we have written our sentences. Number one, if we have used the mixture of simple and complex sentences, then I will get 6 bands. And if I have used the variety of complex structures, then I get 7 band. And then if I have used the appropriate vocabulary with very clear points, then we get 8 bands. Then comes the cohesion and key features. Now let's understand what it is. If my two lines are connected well with each other, then I get 6 bands here. But I didn't fit those lines at the place where they were required to be. That is the reason I got 6 bands, not 7 bands. Means no logical arrangement of ideas were there in my essay. That is why a person gets 6 band, not 7 band. One more important thing here. One should use a wide range of cohesive devices to fetch good band score. Now we will understand these points in detail. That what is task achievement, what are lexical devices, cohesive devices, and how to write our sentences in well written form. First, discuss task achievement. Task achievement is basically your ability to answer the question properly. Means you need to fully address all parts of the question. Let's take one example that we had taken previously. More and more people nowadays have to compete with younger people for the same job. What problems does this cause? What are some possible solutions? See, there are two different things here, and we have to talk about the problems as well as the solutions. And if we don't include these things in our answer, we will not score higher than 5 band for task achievement. Also, if we have talked about the causes instead of the problems, again my scores will be less. Then the main key points, what we have to keep those things in mind when we are discussing the task achievement topic. Number one, answer all parts of the question well. Use relevant ideas when you are writing your sentences and explain your ideas fully with the help of relevant specific examples or any kind of study you can also mention. Then comes how to write complex sentences. Basically, complex sentences is like a phobia for people, but this is not any kind of phobia. Rather, people are not aware about the term complex sentences. They just know about the thing. Complex means they have to write complicated sentences. They have to write long or impressive sentences just to fetch good score. Remember one thing, when we do this thing generally and in 90% cases, we lose our score. Now, see what we have to do. These complex sentences are just simple two or more simple sentences, and we put them together, which will make the essay more coherent and cohesive. Now let's see how we can do this thing. Now I'm going to discuss the right approach, that how one can convert simple sentences to complex sentences. I'm taking the previous essay that we had discussed. Many young people are without job. This is the simple sentence for this particular essay. Then I wrote, many young people have less experience. Again, a simple sentence. Then comes, young people are not a big threat to older people. Okay, these are my three simple sentences. Now let's see how I can convert these simple sentences into the complex ones. In many countries, younger generation is unemployed. I have used the word young people as younger generation, without job as unemployed. Then, moreover, I used the cohesive device. Many young people have less experience, means, moreover, employed people have no or less experience. Employed people means young people have no or less experience, and therefore again cohesive device. Young people don't pose a real threat to older people. Young people don't pose a real threat, don't pose a big threat to older people. See, now I have connected my three lines in just the simple way, so as I can get maximum score by making my sentences complex. Rather, they seem to be complex, but they are not. I have just used the correct approach. See, whenever I will explain the term correct approach, this is really a very big term in itself. And one has to be very careful when they are using these kind of approaches into your writing tasks. One more thing, complex is just a symbol, it is just a label, not a description. Hope this will be helpful to you people. Then comes very important question, that is when we have to use the complex sentences. And the answer is, use simple sentences when you are at the beginning of a paragraph, and use complex sentences when you are explaining your main ideas with the help of any example or any kind of study. Then comes, what is coherence? Coherence is basically the ability of the student, that how well he or she represents his ideas, and the ideas should be very clear, easily understood, and they should be precise. So what is important here? A logical arrangement of sentences which will include three basic steps. One is topic sentence, with correct explanation, with correct example. This is called coherence. Then comes cohesion. It is the ability of the student, that how well he or she links the ideas, sentences, and paragraphs together. And what is the key to do? The above 3 points: topic sentence, then explanation, then example, so that coherence will be there, so that cohesion is there. Then comes how to link the ideas by using the cohesive devices. You can see n number of cohesive devices in the table, which are representing like time, manner, cause, condition, and concession. Whenever you are discussing anything about time, use as long as, after, before, when. When you are discussing manner, use as, by, though, with. And when you are explaining the cause of any factor, then use the words because, since, as, therefore. And when you are applying some conditions to your sentences, use these kind of cohesive devices like although, unless, if, otherwise, still, despite. And when you are using the concession, then use these kind of cohesive devices, which are although, though, whereas, despite, even though, even if. I personally believe that you all must be aware about the terms time, manner, cause, and condition, but must not be aware about the term concession. So let's discuss what concession is. I have taken one example. The sentence is like, I used to live in Malaysia, but now I live in Thailand. But when you use with the help of concession, I write my line in the form of, even though I live in Malaysia, I work in Thailand. And the second example, even though I live in Malaysia, tells you where I live now. But the sentence contains a surprise for many readers. That is, I work in Thailand. When the opposing idea is something that readers do not expect or that surprises them, we call it concession. Hope this is clear. Then comes vocabulary. For many people, vocabulary is a phobia, but it is not so. Let's understand this term by doing one activity. Think about a word and jot down all the words which will have the same meaning, and also write the words which belong to the same category of that word. Let's understand this thing by taking one example, and I have chosen the word environment. So the similar words will be atmosphere, surroundings, aura, ambience, climate, habitat, nature, biosphere, ecosphere, and ecosystem. And there are many more words which are just similar to the word environment. Then comes same categorical words like natural elements, air, water, soil, gases, life, desert, rain, harvest, forest, living and non-living organisms. Now see, with the help of these categorical words, you will have those many lines in your essay. Means you have those many ideas in your mind. So it becomes easy to make the logical flow between the sentences, and consequently our purpose gets solved. This is how one has to use wide range of vocabulary, and side by side we will not write every time the word environment. We can replace the word environment with synonyms of environment. Let's move ahead and discuss more. Now, how to use words to frame good vocabulary sentence. This is also a very important thing. This is also a very important point to be discussed. Basically, it is related to brainstorming, but not exactly. Now, see how this thing can be worked. I have taken one example with the help of two sentences. The first sentence says, this diet consists of fat, and the second sentence is, this diet consists of proteins and carbohydrates. Now, I will change these lines with respect to 6, 7, and 8 band response. My first response with respect to 6 band is, this diet consists of fat, proteins, and carbohydrates. Second one, with respect to 7 band. This diet consists of fats and it also has proteins and carbohydrates. Then comes for 8 band. This diet not only consists of fats, but it is also enriched with high proteins and carbohydrates. Definitely, computer or the manual checker will give you the 8 band for the third sentence. So this is the way in which one has to write. See, always the way in which you write that matters, and that is the only way which will give you a good band score about the availability of the product. So that is why here the required product is not available is the suitable word here, not the existed one. Second sentence for the same synonym pair. Good and evil dash in all of us. Good and evil exist in all of us. These are not the things which are available. Second sentence is the crime rates are blank these days. The crime rates are increasing these days because rates are increasing, not they are rising. Then smoke was blank into the air. Smoke was always rising. Smoke always rises up. It never increases. Third sentence is government is spending too much money to blank wildlife. We can always preserve the wildlife. We will not save the wildlife. Then is the scanner will dash risk and pain. The scanner will save risk and pain. Scanner can never preserve the risk. So next is what should not be done while writing an essay. The very first important thing is don't do spelling errors. And to overcome this, do proofreading. Next is don't do any grammatical error. And again, to avoid this, do proofreading. The third important step is don't repeat words and lines when you are explaining your ideas. Say, if one time you have used the word important, the next time use the word significant. Lastly, don't use informal words. And to check these things, do proofreading again. Now is the conclusion part. What should one has to include in the conclusion part? First of all, conclusion means summarize the knowledge that you have shared. After that, don't bring up any new idea into the conclusion part. Then, convince the reader about your main idea. Lastly, use a transition word in the starting of the conclusion so that the reader can clearly get the idea about your final thought. That's all about how to write a perfect PTE academic essay.